Hi guys, today I'll be talking about all the crazy tricks in the Mario Odyssey human TAS. None of these tricks are done by me. I'm not quite that good. Let's get started. The first thing that you'll notice is that the language is not in English. This is because Japanese is the fastest scrolling language. The next thing you'll realize is that they are playing in 2-player mode. The reason for this is because it's just like 1-player mode, but it gives you more movement options. Fancy trick called Up Frog. What Up Frog does is allows you to skip the first frog. They'll then capture the second frog to skip a cutscene. And you'll see them do something called Dino Skip Skip, or DSS for short. They'll do a very tricky jump to just jump up the wall for some reason, and then they'll do a backflip and jump up the ribs of the fossil to get to the Madame Brutal fight. The next moon they get is a moon in the chest. They'll leave Cappy near the Odyssey, so when they get the moon, Cappy will hit the globe and they'll teleport up to the Odyssey. Now they enter Sand Kingdom, and the first thing they do is plant a nut. Then they head into a sub-area. This plant takes 20 minutes to grow. When they leave the sub-area, it's grown. They purposely set the time, so when they're in the sub-area, daylight savings time hits and fast forwards the game an hour, so the nut has grown. So the last time you saw 2-player mode, it was 2 people playing, but some people play with their hands and feet. It's extremely difficult. The next thing in Sand Kingdom is a skip called Reverse Jaxie Skip, where they jump onto a Jaxie statue's head, then jump onto a small platform, and then jump up to the top of that Jaxie building place. And then they get the Power Moon. The next thing that they will do when they're in Lake Kingdom, they'll crouch up into a corner, throw Cappy, roll into Cappy, do a jump to hit a checkpoint, and you teleport to that checkpoint to get to an island that you're not supposed to get to unless if you go through a painting. So, now they're in Woodland Kingdom. They head up to one of these nuts, and then they do a well-placed backflip. With that, they're able to throw Cappy and clip through the wall after getting the moon. From there, they're able to get a different moon. The next thing they'll do is something called Flower Road Skip. Because the animation for story modes is pretty slow, they will roll cancel and then triple jump onto a ledge, cap jump, and then dive to skip a story moon. Once they get to the top of the tower, you'll realize they don't fight Spirit, and in fact they roll down, get a power moon, and then go into flood pipes. The reason for that is because, again, story moons cause an unskippable cutscene, and those are just pretty slow, so they skip it. The next thing allows you to save a bit of time on the Bowser fight. By taking a hit and then backflipping, throwing Cappy, it will allow you to pretty much immediately go into the hat and hit Bowser. I've never done it, so I don't know if it's more complicated. The next thing is called Clefto Skip, or Meme Tree Jump. This allows you to skip the whole Clefto thing where it steals Cappy, where immediately you will jump onto a tree, then jump across the trees to a certain tree, where then you'll triple jump, throw Cappy, and then dive onto a platform. From there, they'll get their first power moon. The next thing they'll do is they'll give Cappy to one of those beetle things for it to hit the cage with a moon in it. They will do some very precise jumps to land on a ledge near it so that the bug thing will hit the cage without hitting Mario and he can get the power moon. It is extremely difficult to do good movement without Cappy. The first thing they'll do inside of Night Metro is go inside of the Metro building. They will jump to skip the first elevator, then do another big jump to skip the second elevator, and then they will do a ground pound jump and dive onto a pole they can climb up. Then they'll climb up that pole onto another pole. Then from that pole, they will jump to another pole. Gosh, this is a lot of poles. Then they will jump, throw Cappy, dive onto Cappy, get a moon, and then once they've collected that moon, they will jump across the building to get to their destination for the Mega Wiggler. The next thing they'll do is Scooter Clip. Scooter Clip is a clip where you go onto the scooter, and by turning your controller almost upside down, you will be able to clip into a wall, and usually you would have to go for this whole really difficult to control carving. The next thing they'll do is talk to Captain Toad. They'll leave Cappy by a wire, then go to Captain Toad, talk to him. He'll give you a power moon because he's that rich, and then Cappy will hit the wire to teleport back. The next thing they'll do is go into a building. They will hit a switch, and usually what you do is roll against the wall to get it. But what they do in this is they jump up the wall, then get another power moon in the sub area, and then get that power moon. You have a very small time to do it, and it's pretty crazy that they actually do it. After that, they will jump onto this hot dog stand thing, do a cap jump, and then dive to get to an area where there is a chest. Inside that chest, there's a power moon. After the in-betweens, they will go into a room. In this room, there are Goombas. They will use the Goombas to get one of the power moons. From there, they'll roll and pretty much skip the entire thing by jumping to that final power moon. The next thing they do is Snowdrum. This is probably one of the hardest tricks in the entire thing. What they will do is they'll throw Cappy, roll into Cappy, then dive off of Cappy, do a rainbow spin, and then dive onto a certain platform. And then they'll get the chest moon that you're only supposed to get when you go through a painting. This next jump is almost instant when they enter Seaside Kingdom. They will get to an area, and then they will ground pound jump, throw Cappy, dive onto him, wall jump, and then dive up to a certain area to get a power moon. After getting a certain power moon, they'll take a Cheep to a certain area. From there, they will do a dive downwards, leave the Cheep, get a certain way away, and then they'll throw Cappy, capture the Cheep again, and then do another dive. That will allow the invisible barrier to push them out of bounds. From there, they'll get a power moon, and then swim into the Sphinx area to get another power moon. The next thing they'll do is they'll skip Speward again by doing a 2-player jump to jump across Speward. Then they'll get into a shards room where by using 2-player they can have Cappy just fly across a room and get almost all of the shards, and that will spawn a power moon, and it's incredibly fast and incredibly cool. The next thing they'll do is they'll get to a certain area in Luncheon Kingdom and just jump through the wall. Then they'll get into a sub area where they can collect a power moon and then leave. Upon leaving that sub area, they will go to a certain area. Then they will jump, hit some random floating blocks in midair, and then from there they will jump across the rest of the way. Next thing is the dragon fight inside of Ruined Kingdom. What they will do is they will dodge all the things as a casual player would do, and then they will ground pound jump, then cap jump, and then dive onto his head while still lightning. They will take a hit, but that allows them to hit the things and do a ground pound as fast as possible. After that, they will battle the Brutals. Hatteran is pretty simple. Just hit the bombs back at her, dive onto her head, and when she does that attack where she makes bombs fall out of the sky from her hat, then just hit the bombs back at her. And then for Topper, what they'll do is they will hit 2 of his hats to make him do the spin attack. Then they'll jump on top of his back. When he goes into his super mode thing, then they will jump onto the hat that he is in to make it go faster. The next skip is a skip that skips the entire deep section of the moon. They do a ground pound jump onto a Sphinx head, throw Cappy, and then land on Cappy. Then they'll look for an L shape, jump on that, then jump again, and dive up. The next thing is in the 2D area where you are controlling Bowser. They do a skip called 2D skip, where they hit one of the rocks and then they will jump onto the other brick, and then they will do the same thing, but this time just jump onto a normal platform and then turn around. This is the last part of the speed run. Immediately what they'll do is they'll jump and shoot 5 fireballs. If all of them hit, they're golden. Then they'll do the same thing for all the other ones. They might not jump this time. And then they'll hit the final brick and jump into the zip line and then launch himself off to finish the speed run. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!